Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be another episode of Watchlist Wednesday.
Watch. Oh, it's Watchlist Wednesday.
I'll add it to the list.
And I'm really excited. Today we're going to be diving into a comedy, and this is another movie that is kind of considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. And if you're thinking, oh my god, is this The Room? No, I've already watched that one on this series. Today we're going to be watching a different movie. It's called The Son of the Mask. The first one, The Mask with Jim Carrey, is a comedy that a lot of people will say is one of the greatest comedies of all time. I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not a fan of The Mask, so I'm really concerned about how I'm going to feel about this one, because in my opinion, I feel like the comedy of The Mask just does not work for me at all. And then I'm looking at the cast of this, the Son of the Mask one that I'm about to watch, and Alan Cumming is interesting. Like, I don't necessarily have anything against him. I definitely think that when he plays Nightcrawler in the X-Men X2 movie, he's pretty good at that. And then the other one I just know from the Scream movies, and he's funny in that. So hopefully that translates well to this movie. I'm not very looking forward to it, but I'm going to go pop this in and watch it, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I still don't think this is the worst movie of all time. I've seen Pitch Perfect 3, and in my opinion, Pitch Perfect 3 is still significantly worse than this. I think that the humor is here. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't get the hatred that people have for this movie. Watching it, there's definitely a lot of moments that are relatively uncomfortable. There's a lot of humor that definitely would not fly in today's, society. But for the most part, I think that this movie isn't terrible. Obviously, if you're going to watch this comedy movie and you're expecting it to have a good plot, non-existent. If I had to explain the plot to you guys, there's this guy, he makes cartoons, he works at a cartoon animation place, but for some reason the animation studio is also like a theme park that has like little guided tours with their characters and stuff like that. Don't really get the concept of that, but that's weird. But basically, him and his wife, terrible relationship between the two of them. They go to a baby shower early on in the movie. The wife is like, oh my god, I really want a kid, but the man is like a giant man child. He constantly is ignoring his wife and kind of treating his wife like shit, but not like in like a douchebag way, more in like a this guy's a loser, how the hell did he ever get a girlfriend kind of way. Like, he's ignoring her, he's playing video games on his little Nintendo DS. He basically is a giant man child. And eventually he has to go to some Halloween party, and he's stressed out because it's a company party, and they're all animators, and they all get really into their Halloween costumes. And he happens to find the mask from the first movie, and essentially the dog just like found it and scooped it up. And he goes to a Halloween party. There's just a giant musical number, which I think is actually pretty decent. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The musical numbers in the first Mask movie always felt like really weird and out of place to me, and this one also felt really weird and out of place, but at least like I liked it. Like, I don't know, I have a very unpopular opinion about The Mask. I really hate The Mask with Jim Carrey. But that being said, this one pretty bad. But like I said, goes to a Halloween party, ends up coming home, he still has the mask on, and he gets his wife pregnant, and then the entire pregnancy is like sped through, but occasionally there will be really awkward scenes where they're like going to get an ultrasound, and they're like putting the thing over the like woman's, well, what's it called, like belly bump, and it's just watching the baby break dance inside the stomach, which is weird. There's a lot of really bad CGI in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely a movie that even if it was good back in the day and the CGI was good back then, did not age well at all. But yeah, basically, the child eventually gets born. There's a lot of really bad dialogue, like the dad being like, oh my god, hey buddy, I waited 9 months for you. I'm so happy that you're like here and alive and stuff. And it's like really, really awkward and uncomfortable dialogue. But basically, the entire plot is after that Halloween party, the animator dude got some kind of promotion, and now he needs to make a show about the Mask character, but he has zero recollection of that night and has no idea how to recreate the character. And basically, his son is now also, has the powers of the Mask, and it's a baby going absolutely batshit crazy and stuff like that. Weird. Not a very good movie. I will say this, the subplots with Alan Cumming he plays Loki, which is interesting. I didn't know that. If you guys know the lore of the mask is a mask that was created by Loki, and whoever puts it on gets the powers of Loki and the powers of deception or whatever. And Alan Cummings plays Loki, and he needs to go around and try to find the mask, and because they had a baby with the mask, he also needs to try to steal the kid. So that was an interesting subplot. I think that everything with Alan Cumming actually worked relatively well. I'm not gonna lie, this movie made me laugh a lot, and the majority of the sequences were when Alan Cumming is being Loki, and he's doing a bunch of weird shape-shifting stuff, and just being over-the-top ridiculous. It's a pretty funny movie for the most part. It's pretty straightforward comedy, and I think that a lot of the scenes are really, really dumb. This movie to me feels like if they made a like Sunday morning cartoon into a live-action movie. So, like, there's sequences where the dog just randomly, like, puts on the mask and goes absolutely crazy, tries robbing a bank and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, what is happening? There's moments where people are literally bouncing off the walls. There's stuff where, like, the dog is, like, putting on a jetpack, tying on some, like, grappling hook onto him, and then he's connecting himself to a piano and then trying to launch up a flight of stairs, and the piano just destroys the entire dude's house. A lot of really, really weird stuff happens in this movie, and for the most part, like I said, like, it's funny. It's not coherent at all, but it's funny. It gets the job done. It'll make you laugh at least a little bit. But yeah, overall, not a big fan of this movie. I don't think it's the worst movie of all time. Like I said, Pitch Perfect, definitely significantly worse than this. The Room, definitely significantly worse than this. There's probably a lot of other movies I could probably come up with that are significantly worse than this. Madam Web, definitely significantly worse than this movie. So overall, not the worst movie I've ever seen. I definitely could see why people would not like this movie. Like I said, as somebody who was not a fan of the first Mask movie, I'm gonna actually go to say this hot take, and hopefully no one's actually watching this video as of this point, and I can say this without getting attacked. I actually enjoyed this movie than I enjoyed the original, The Mask with Jim Carrey. Granted, haven't watched The Mask with Jim Carrey in like 3 or 4 years, so maybe I have a bad recollection of it. I remember strongly disliking it. So for this one, I at least was like, okay, there's some funny moments in here. There's some parts that aren't absolutely miserable. But yeah, overall, if I had to give this movie a rating, I'd probably give it like a 12 out of 100. Still pretty terrible, but it's not by far one of the worst things I've ever seen. And considering it's a comedy, I think it lives up to, I think it's, okay, I'm going to say this as well, kind of a hot take potentially. I think that this is funnier than a lot of modern comedies. Like, a lot of comedies are, like, Hulu exclusive or, Netflix originals and stuff like that. Like, I think this is better than Murder Mystery 2, which came out last year with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. I think it's better than Vacation Friends, which came out last year with John Cena on Hulu. I think it's better than You People, which came out on Netflix last year. So, it definitely is not that terrible. And I definitely don't think that it deserves to be given the title of worst movie of all time. But yeah, that being said, that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. Very quick one for you today. I love and appreciate you guys so much for coming by and checking it out and watching. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow. Bow.
Back at it again, but that's a relevant flow. So smooth, they calling me Mr. Elegant. Like an elephant, I got a long nose. Like a president, I've got a few hoes. Swift with a stutter, I'm smooth like butter. Don't see it coming when I slip undercover. Like a big dog, but I don't bite. I'm still a big broad, I'd win that fight. Come match you and I knock out your lights.